After the picnic, Rosie stretched her tongue to lick the jam off her face. Then she went for a fun swim in the lake with her mom and dad. How she loved to show off doing handstands underwater. Then, afterwards on the grass, they played catch with a koosh ball, followed by tumbles and cartwheels. Finally pooped, Rosie slunk down like Raggedy Ann and watched her mom paint a picture of some beautiful flowers. Then the sun vanished. The day turned very dark. Thunder rumbled, lightning flashed, a cloudburst, then a downpour. Running for cover, they still got drippy-drenched. "Oh, Mollyfoggle," her mother said, pouty-faced. The rain had washed away the pretty painted flowers. "The colors went away," Rosie observed. Her mom let out a long sigh. Then bits of blue and the sun peeked through the fleeting clouds. "Look, the sun!" Rosie's heart rose. She hoped her mom's would, too. Then she saw something that made her eyes pop. She blinked twice and pinched herself hard. Owie, not a dream. Colors streaked across the clouds. Amazing. "Mommy, Daddy, look!" Rosie pointed with wild-eyed wonder. Her dad's eyes followed her wiggling finger to the sky. "It's a rainbow, Rosie." A real rainbow? Rosie marveled at the long, curving, colored stripes. She'd seen pictures of rainbows, but never the real thing. "Pretty cool, huh?" Her dad pulled out a tangled wig, stuck in her curly red hair, and patted her head. Rosie didn't like being fussed over like she was still a little kid. "I wish I could see it closer." Her dad laughed. "Sorry, silly goose, but you can't get any closer." Rosie never liked it when she didn't know what was funny. "I'm not a silly goose. You're a silly moose." Her hand moved to touch the rainbow, but stopped. Her dad would think she's a silly goose. "It's an illusion, sweetie." "Oh," Rosie said, feeling pretty darn clueless. "They say if you could find the end of the rainbow, there would be a pot of gold there waiting for you." Talk about silly gooses. Pots of gold at the end of a rainbow. What hooey. Rosie knew her daddy was making it up. She could always tell. Then Rosie saw her mom's head hanging over her washed-out painting. Her mom hadn't even noticed the amazing rainbow. Zingo! An idea bulb flashed above Rosie's head. She ran to her knapsack and yanked out her colored crayons and drawing paper. "I'll draw you the rainbow," she announced proudly. Her mom looked up. "Rosie, that would tickle me pink." A sparkling smile wiped away her mopey face. Raring to go, crayon in hand, Rosie looked back to the sky. Uh-oh, the rainbow. Poof! Evaporating right before her eyes. Oh, phooey, Rosie thought, her heart sinking. How could she draw something that wasn't there? On the ride home, a very poopy-droopy Rosie stretched her body out on the back seat. She tried with all her might to imagine it. Nope, no rainbow. The next thing she knew, light danced across her eyelids. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. She felt the comforting jiggle of her being carried up the stairs by her daddy. So sleepy. Her mom's good-night kiss felt like a warm bun on her cheek. "Mommy, I'm sorry about your painting." "I know, Pumpkin." She pulled the blanket up under Rosie's chin. "And the rainbow? I didn't know how to draw it after the colors went away," she said, sleepy-eyed. "You could use your imagination, or maybe dream about it. I'm sure you'll find a way." Her mom clicked the light switch. The creaky door closed, leaving Rosie in the dark. Use her imagination. How? She waved her hand in front of her face. She saw nothing. Imagination. You can't make colors that way. Then a beam of moonlight snuck through the open window. Yippee! She could see again. Her eyes wandered to her bright yellow desk. Strange. She could hardly make out the color in the moonlight. The color was fading away, like in her mom's painting, like with the rainbow. Her eyes darted to the blue vase with the golden yellow sunflowers she plucked from the backyard, now barely colored at all. Her rosy red ballet slippers, becoming gray blobs slung over the closet doorknob. On her bulletin board, the blue ribbon prize she won for her drawing, more gray. All the familiar colored objects in her room, all shades of gray in the moonlight. Her head fell back onto her pillow. The big bright moon lit up puffy clouds in the night sky. She watched them drift across the man in the moon's face. Wisps and curlicues formed funny shapes. Silly faces, weird-looking animals, strange monsters. A bunny monster with skinny, long, snaky ears formed, then just as quickly changed into something else. She tried to name it while her eyelids grew heavy, and she drifted into a restless sleep. Suddenly, the morning light snapped open her eyes, and she peered out her window. Not a sliver of blue pierced the bright, hazy clouds. The sun was pasted there like the moon. Something creepy about it gave her the willies. Then she shuddered. No yellow desk, no blue ribbon, no red slippers. Daylight had not brought the colors back. Her eyes flew around the room to the dull and dingy old grays everywhere. She jumped out of bed and raced to her dresser and yanked out the drawers. 1, 2, 3, all her clothes gray, gray, and more gray. A glance in the mirror. Yikes! Even her rosy curls were gray. What was going on? Wait. She ran to her knapsack. She dumped the crayons onto the desk. Pencil gray, dirt gray, dust gray, more grays than she knew existed. Colored crayons with no color. It made no sense. Rosie dashed to the window. Outside, the leaves, the flowers in the backyard, the cars in the street. Holy moly, no colors anywhere. The whole world had gone gray. Rosie was really scared now. She backed into bed and tugged the covers over her head. Maybe she would never see color again. She had seen her first rainbow. Was it going to be her last? She counted numbers as high as she could count, hoping it might make the world right again. Oh, she wanted to see another rainbow so much, to feast her eyes on its wondrous colors again. She had never wanted anything so badly in her whole life. Slowly she crept to the window. Did she dare peek? Then she remembered what her mom said. Use your imagination. Her imagination. She scanned the sky. There? Oh, was it really there? A rainbow? Yes, a rainbow, but her heart sank. All the stripes were shades of gray. Her fists clenched. Use your imagination. Use your imagination. She could hear herself chanting the words in a whisper. She squeezed her eyes shut, tighter than ever. Then a fantastic thing happened. A glow, was it a red glow, filtered through her eyelids. Was she just wishing? She popped her eyes open. A flash of red exploded onto one gray stripe. Whoosh! Then whoosh, whoosh, orange, blue. All the stripes are now bursting with colors. A miracle! Then suddenly, another rainbow swooshed into view. Now, as quickly, swoosh, another one, then swoosh, swoosh, more, bursting before her eyes, colors, rainbows everywhere, so many miracles, everywhere she looked. Even though her dad had said it couldn't be done, Rosie just had to try. So she reached out and plucked one from the sky, just like picking a leaf off a tree. Amazing. Cradling the rainbow gently, she brought it inside. She touched the red stripe and pop! Her forefinger instantly turned red. Then the blue, and pop! It turned blue. Now all her fingers danced back and forth across the rainbow, changing colors, pop, 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 like a xylophone of colors. When she stopped, her forefinger was the last color it touched, green. Curious now, she turned to touch the colorless sunflower in the gray vase. Presto! The flower turned green. Quickly she dipped her finger into the rainbow's red stripe. A soft tap on the flower, and presto! The green sunflower turned red. Rosie then spotted her gray ballet slippers. She scampered over to them, and presto! Now they were red ballet slippers. She was giddy now with the power in her finger. Dancing around and around the room, she touched and touched until everything in it was red. Whoops, too much red. Prancing about now and using her rainbow as a palette, it didn't take long before she had painted everything in her room, a rainbow of colors that suited her fancy. At the window now, Rosie floated up with her magical rainbow and glided out on a breeze, ready to paint the world. Rosie felt herself awaken. Sure, it was all a fantastic dream, wasn't it? She took a deep breath and opened her eyes. The colors were back to normal. No, not normal, better than normal. They were so real, so alive, so glorious. She tiptoed over to the blue vase with the yellow sunflower in it and hesitated a moment, then touched it. No, her finger was no longer a magic color wand. She went to the desk and looked at all her colored crayons scattered about. Even brown, the one she never liked much, looked so chocolatey and delicious. In seconds she was at her desk, crayons in hand, deep into her drawing, lost to the outside world. When she finished, she brought it to her mom. "Why, Rosie, this rainbow's the most beautiful drawing you have ever made. It actually glows. Thank you so much. I can see you really used your imagination." "Yes, Mom, I sure did." Rosie beamed with pride.